continue with our class Kosher Kitchen. We start with Sefer Chaim. And the topic is listening to Lashon Hara, same topic. Today's topic is proper reaction. Based on the previous rules, it is clear that upon hearing Lashon Hara, one should promptly interrupt the speaker and reprimand him for his words. In a case where doing so to cause the speaker embarrassment, there is other people present, it is preferable that one tactfully change the subject, thus preventing further speaking of Lashon Hara, and offer a proof later in private. Okay, so that's a very good suggestion. So let's do from the beginning. We explain. Based on the previous rules, so meaning that you have to rebuke people, it is clear that upon hearing Lashon Hara, one should promptly interrupt the speaker and reprimand him of his words, for his words. So you have to stop and you have to tell him not to do it, right? It's not such an easy thing. I mean, when you're one-on-one, it's, as we said before, it's much easier. But if there are a group of people, right, in case where doing so causes speaker embarrassment, and there is other presence, it is preferable to tactfully change subject and thus preventing the further speaking of Lashon Hara. I mean, that's, I think it's easier said than done. Try to change the subject. So now you would have to keep the conversation with these people. Why? Because you want to be center of the conversation. You want to keep this new subject. So, for me, it's better not to be there. I mean, unless you want to spend so much time and effort, to prevent these people from speaking Lashon Hara. But we have to understand once you leave, they're going to go back. Right. So, but if you want to stay, that's a proper procedure. Right. You have to change the subject, thus preventing further speaking Lashon Hara, and offer a proof later in private. Right, to the speaker. Okay. If one finds oneself unable to change the subject, he should walk away. Okay. While incapable of fulfilling the obligation to reprove, one must nevertheless avoid transgressing the sin of listening to Lashon Hara. If one feels uncomfortable living, then at least he should do as tried the best to ignore what is being said and use a facial expression to show disapproval. Certainly, he should not appear as though he enjoyed the conversation. So let's do this paragraph. It's very interesting. So again, the proper way, straightforward, to stop the person. So if you cannot, right, to change the subject, right? So it is the same as stopping the person. Okay. If one finds himself unable to change the subject, so I mean, people are not going to listen to you, right? He should walk away. So that's the best way. Walk away. While incapable of fulfilling the obligation to reprove, I mean, again, just a reminder, we're not obligated to be at the police of the world, to reprove everybody. Like, I don't know, I said, have these people who send me the topic that I have to speak about, this Chabadnik, that, like, I said, you know, why you do listen to my other lectures? Like, try to do halachas or brachas. Why you the guy searching on internet what these people did wrong? It's unbelievable. You understand? So we were not obligated. Why did I say that? You were not obligated to be police of the world, right? So they want to do whatever they want to do. So I just walk away. So at least I fulfill my personal obligation to not to listen to Lashon Hara. While incapable of fulfilling this obligation to reprove, one must nevertheless avoid transgressing the sin, listen to Lashon Hara. We said that. If one feels uncomfortable living, at least he should try his best to ignore what is being said. So about this being uncomfortable living, and so sometimes me personally, I'm in a similar situation, like when it's proper to live, but everybody is in it. And if you're going to get up right now everybody is going to look at you, like, guaranteed, right? And you cannot stay. So, like, in my mind, I've been doing it many times. So, like, in my mind, like, it's only one second. So once you get up, that's it, and you continue going. So it's only you have to, like, win you ate Sahara, your embarrassment, right? It's you need only like 1 or 2 seconds, just get up, like, make the decision, and that's it, and the rest is easy. Okay, so it's only decision that is hard. Okay, so if one feels uncomfortable living, at least he should try to best to ignore what is being said, right? Ignore and use a facial expression to show the disapproval. Okay, so I mean, if you don't want to live, but I'm not sure what is easier to just to leave or to show your facial expression of disapproval, meaning they would see that you do not agree, and they would start the confrontation. Like, maybe it's easy to leave. Okay, certainly he should not appear as he enjoyed the conversation. That's for sure. Okay, one must train himself. Maybe I guess when you cannot walk away, maybe at work or something. I don't know. One must train himself to defend his values, to be more concerned with the truth than with personal pride. That's very important. Ultimately, one will find that the less he fears the scorn and derision of the scoffers, the more self-esteem will grow, and his stature will grow in the eyes of the others as well. Okay. So one more time, it's very interesting. It's very, like, powerful, and that's what we've been speaking all about, all along, right? One must train himself to defend values, his values, meaning what is true. Others, they're going to get offended, they don't agree. Like, who cares about others? Okay, we do care, but the truth is more important, right? So one must train himself to defend his values, to be more concerned about the truth than the personal pride. So even personal pride, even our personal pride, because they're going to try to embarrass you. That's guaranteed, right? Ultimately, one will find that it's less, the less he fears scorn and derision of the scoffers, right? So I do not care. I do what is right. I know what when I standing up and walking away, HaShem is proud of me, right? And that's the only one that I care. Okay, so you would be more like have more courage to do that. The more the self-esteem will grow, and his status will grow, right? And his stature will grow in eyes of the others as well. And these people are going to respect you, because always people respect somebody with the values, right? There's somebody who insists on doing whatever is right, even though they don't like you, but at least they're going to respect you. Okay, so we stop here. Okay, any questions on what we said? No problem. No questions, no problem. Okay, so we are at the end. No, we're not at the end. I apologize. We're at the end of the section A. So it's chapter number 8, and the topic is Kashrus of the knife, and summary of the section A, and we're going to go to practical application. So in going to practical application, we're going to review what we said the last time. Okay, so let's see. The knife used to cut cold food. So cut is the next chapter, not the next chapter, next section. Now we're talking about like easy stuff. When cold, we said there is no transfer of the taste. So maybe on a surface, maybe like fatty residue. So you have to wash thoroughly with the soap. Maybe like a wipe. We'll see. Okay, so it's easy scenario. Okay, when a cold food one type is cut with a knife of the other type, or with a non-kosher knife, we are not concerned about the taste being absorbed into the knife. Okay, So that's concern is a knife at this point, right? However, if the knife was probably, but not certainly clean, we must contend with the possibility that the food residue was on a knife blade. We must also be concerned about the residue of the food that may remain on a knife. The effect of the knife on the food and the food on the knife is dependent upon the type of the food that was cut. So we're going to first review this paragraph and then go into practical applications. So again, talking about cold food and cold knife. When the cold food of one type is cut with a knife of another type. So we have we cut in cheese with a meat knife. Okay, for example, or even non-kosher knife. Doesn't matter. So again, all of the example that we use is meat. Right, meat, dairy, or non-kosher, it's exactly the same laws. Right, so we're not concerned about the taste absorbed by the knife. So at least when it's cold and knife is cold and food is cold, at least the knife is not going to absorb. So at least at least one part is straightforward and easy. So the only concern if there was residue on the knife and it transferred to the food. Okay. However, if the knife was probably, but not certainly clean, so probably, but not certainly clean, so of course we're going by the stricter opinion, like not opinion, assumption that it was not clean. Okay. We must contend with the possibility that the food residue was on a knife blade. Okay, so basically we don't want to risk. So if you do not know for sure that the knife was clean, so we say most likely it was not clean. Okay. We must also be concerned that about residue of the food that may remain on a knife. So maybe the food was on a knife, right? That transferred to the food, to our food, and maybe the food not maybe, and for sure the food residue from the food that we cut remained on a knife, right? For example, as we said, it was a meat knife and we cut cheese, so the cheese residue on this knife. Okay. The effect of the knife on the food and the food of the knife depends upon type of the food that was cut. Okay, so what effect of the knife of the food, like what is on a knife and what is on the food and how to fix the situation, as we discussed last time, but now we're going to review practical application. Dairy knife used to cut meat. Okay, dairy knife to or as a reverse. So just remember, it's always this way or that way. It doesn't matter. Exactly the same. Soft food. Meat or cheese. Okay. Meat or cheese. Okay. Both is a cut. Both cut surfaces of the food and the knife must be scrubbed well in the cold water. Right. So why is in cold water? Again, as we said, most if you wanna wash something, we always warm. You use the warm water with the soap. So they say no, because the warm is the heat is that one, it causes the taste to be absorbed. So we always use cold water. It does not have to be cold, but room temperature, right? Cool water. So one more time, soft food. So for soft food, just to remind us, meaning that we did not apply pressure to the knife. So and when you apply pressure, so it says that there is some heat at that point, right? At the point of the cut. Okay. So one more time, soft food, meat and cheese. Both a cut surface of the food and the knife must be scrubbed well in cool water. Okay, so far so good, right? Knife and the food. Preferably a sliver of the of cut surface of the food should be removed. If the knife was not scrubbed immediately, it requires netziach. Okay, so if it's possible to cut the small piece of food, there is no problem. But it's preferable. But if person can wash well, if it's possible to wash well, so yeah, they can wash well, right? With knife, the best is to wash in a cold water, I guess with soap. But if did not do it, so meaning the time passed. I don't remember we say what was the time period we're talking about here. They use the word immediately, so then it's required neitza. Neitza meaning sticking into the ground, as we said. Okay, so far so good. So we talked about soft food. Next example, hard foods. For example, hard cheese. The cut surface of the food should preferably be removed. Right, the knife required netzach. So again, this hard food affects actually knife more, right? So you have to because the hard you apply pressure, and this pressure goes into the food, and pressure goes into the knife, meaning that the taste of the cheese is absorbed into the knife. That's why just washing in cold water is not going to work. Okay. Okay. So in this cut surface of the cheese should be removed. Dairy meat or non-kosher knife used to cut powder food. Okay, so next section. So dairy meat or non-kosher knife used to cut powder food. So meaning, what became of foods, right? Okay. So number one. Non-sharp root vegetables, for example, carrot, turnip, and parsnip. So meaning these hard vegetables, right? The food should be rinsed well to remove any meat, dairy, or non-kosher residues. So that's the best. I mean, that's the easiest customers, right? Because they did not absorb, because they're so hard. Okay, Baruch HaShem. So with them, those are not affected. No, I mean they're not affected. Just rinse well, meaning you don't have to cut any surface, right? And that's it. Okay. So technically, non-sharp food. So the situation here, for example, you cut these carrots with a dairy knife, and you won't use these carrots for meat stew. That's the situation. Okay. So otherwise, if you cut it with this knife, with a dairy knife, and you use a dairy mill or the powder mill, there is no problem whatsoever. Continue. Fruit. Next scenario: fruits and juicy vegetables. For example, oranges, watermelons, cucumbers, pumpkins, beets, and other garden vegetables. The cut surface should be scraped clean, unless the knife was clean and not ben yamu. Okay, so let's try to understand. So one more time, fruits and juicy vegetables. Right. So, for example, oranges, watermelons, cucumbers, pumpkins, beets, and all greens vegetables. The cut surface should be scraped clean. I'm not sure how is it possible. Like if you already did the salad. I mean, if you cut tomato only once, there is no problem. But if you did the salad, so just forget it. Right, but if only one cut, I say yeah, there is no problem. Okay, should be scraped clean, and the knife, unless the knife was clean, right? Then you don't have to do anything, and not binyamu. And so two conditions. So meaning the knife is clean and it was not used during that day. Okay. So just to remind us, even with knives, we go a little leniently, right? With other things for sure lenient, but here is just some lenient with the knives that clean for 24 hours. Continue. One should not eat vegetable salad in a non-kosher restaurant. Right. So of course, as we spoke before, bugs is always it's one concern, but another concern is that they cut with a knife that they use for something else, right? Okay, for meat or something. Continue. Next one, cut watermelon may be purchased from the supermarket. Some punctilious individuals avoid doing so. So as we also said, and not last time, the time before that one. So we said usually in that department of this produce department, they use this knife only for watermelon, the cantaloupe and stuff like that. They would not use it for meat. Also different department, so we can rely that knife is only used for these things. Okay. So technically we can buy, but if you can avoid, better avoid. Continue. So and same would apply. For example, forget about the salad. Salad is a different story. But I would say even sometimes they would cut the watermelon in half or in quarters. So you don't need the whole watermelon. It's too much. You want to buy only a quarter. So this would also be allowed. That these knives they would use only for vegetables. Okay. Continue. One who cuts fish with a clean non-kosher knife should thoroughly wash the cut surfaces. Similarly, one who cuts fish with a clean meat or dairy knife should thoroughly wash the cut surfaces before using it with other type. Okay. If there is any question of whether or not the knife was clean, the cut surface should scrape lightly. Okay, so let's do this again about the fish. I think it was it's the most practical for us. At least I would say for me this fish part. Okay. So one more time. One who cuts fish with a clean non-kosher knife. So you go to the to this fish store, right? They sell kosher fish, not kosher fish, right? And let's or no, that's not a good example. We said for example, you go to the store and they sell only kosher fish. Okay, so one who cuts fish with a clean non-kosher knife. Okay, clean non-kosher knife. Okay. Should thoroughly wash the cut surfaces. So if it's clean, so clean, the way I understand, maybe in the morning it's clean. But if the guy is cutting this fish, yeah, maybe he wipes the knife. But to say that it's clean, I would not say it is clean. Okay. Similar, one who cuts fish with a clean meat knife, meat or dairy knife, should thoroughly wash the surface before using with other type, right? So meaning, let's say we switch from the store to home. So now you have fish and you cut the fish with a dairy knife, and you planning to eat the fish during the Shabbos meal, for example, right? It's very proper to have fish during the meal, right? So in this case, then he cut it with dairy knife. He should thoroughly wash the cutting surface. So I would say just it depends what they did. Maybe just remove a little bit would be like easier. Okay. should wash it thoroughly before using it with the other time. But he said you can wash it, so you can wash it, no problem. Okay. If there is any question whether or not the knife was clean, the cut surface should be scraped lightly. Okay, so if you think that people did not wash this dairy knife after cutting cheese, right? And now you cut fish. I'm not sure how is it possible, how people do that, but let's say they can. So in this case, yeah, you have to scrape lightly. Okay. Continue. One should not purchase fish from a store that sells non-kosher fish. If one must purchase kosher fish with recognizable fins and scales from a non-kosher store, the cutting surface should be scrubbed and scraped. If the store sells kosher fish only, one may purchase cut fish with recognizable fins and scales. The pickled or salted fish should not be purchased without rabbinic supervision of the fish. So, okay, so let's do this fish again. It's very practical, I think. So one more time. One should not purchase fish from the store that sells non-kosher fish. So because for them it's no problem, they would cut this fish or that fish. It does not matter for them. So as I said in the store that I used to buy, so even though they offer you to clean and this and that, so I would never. I said no cut, no clean, nothing. Right? It's very interesting. But because one of the reasons I said they have shrimps, they would cut the heads of the shrimps, I guess, with the same knife. They have a shark. I think a few times. So I said, what is it? They say it's shark. Very interesting. So of course I don't want them to touch my fish. Okay. So one more time, one should not purchase fish from the store that sell non-kosher fish. Again, if it's cut, so if it's whole fish, there is no problem whatsoever. Okay. If one must purchase kosher fish with recognizable fins and scales, so most likely, like if it has scales, most likely it's a complete fish. Okay, fins they would leave, but scales it's a complete fish from a non-kosher store. The cut surface should be scrubbed and scraped. For example, if they open the stomach, as we gave example with the salmon, right? They open the stomach to remove caviar and intestines. Okay, no problem. So you can scrub and scrape a little, and you should be good. If the store sells kosher fish only, one may purchase cut fish with recognizable fins and scales. So if usually the stores they sell only fish, I don't know, they would not sell anything else, or maybe some packaged food. Okay. Is it true? It's not true. So I have these several stores. I'm just thinking, even though it says seafood and stuff like that, but they all sell meat, not kosher meat, for sure, all of them. There is no, like, at least I have never seen like a store when it says fish store and they sell only fish. For sure, all of them sells meat. Okay. Okay. So pickled and salted fish should not be purchased without rabbinic supervision of the fish. So one of the reasons we said the salt is actually cooking, right? And so the salt may make it sharp and transfer of the taste, for sure. Okay. So next one, ideally bread should be cut only with a part of knife, or a knife of the same type of food to be eaten with a bread. So that's in my house we have a bread knife, or a few, not bread knife, but even if we have bread knife, but this part of knives, period. So never put yourself in the situation where you start guessing, right? If the only knife is okay, or cut with a pared knife, or type of the same knife with same type of food that you're going to eat. If you're going to have this dairy milk, cut with a dairy knife. Of course, this should be clean, preferably non-benyamo. That would be the best, meaning it was more than 24 hours it was clean. But okay, continue. But if it's clean less than 24 hours, there is still room for leniency. If the only knife available is of the other type, right? The knife is required netzach beforehand. If the netzach was not done, the bread should be scraped similar to the fruit. For me, it's too much work. So let's see. If the only knife was available of the other type, so they want to have this dairy meal, and the only knife is available is a meat knife. The knife required netzach, meaning sticking into the ground, which is it's not so easy. You have to go somewhere to outside and find the ground. All right, right. That's a beforehand. If the netzach was not done, the bread should be scraped. Should be scraped. I mean, how do you scrape the bread? Okay, so it's better to have a pared knife. Okay, so all these difficulties because a person is not organized. That's it. Just buy yourself 3 pared knives and one meat knife and 1 milk knife. So it's the majority of the knives would be pared. That's it. Any questions on what we said?
Rabbi?
Yes, go ahead.
I'm not sure we already went over this, but if there's no other option handy, is a person allowed to buy frozen cut salmon that comes with the skin?
So frozen cut salmon kind with the skin. Technically. So if there's absolutely no other choice, so I would say yes, because they being produced on a factory, right? When some kind of factory in the farm, so they would cut only salmons. It's not like they have different fish. So on one hand, on the other hand, we don't know what they ate for preservation. So if it's even if it's only frozen, it says only frozen, fresh frozen, still they add things for preservation. You understand? So if I put if we buy fresh salmon, fresh fish, let's say we clean and we put a refrigerator, it can stay there only for so long. I'm not sure, a few months. But if you buy it from the store, also package, it's not vacuum package, like package, so it can store. You can put it in the refrigerator for a year. So for sure they add something to the as a preservation. That's the issue of the kashrus, not only the knife. Okay, what else?
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
So what about the after the fact procedure? Do I have to scrape the surface of this fish, of this frozen fish, even when it's frozen?
Okay, yes, I would say you can, but most likely if you just wash it with the cold water, it should suffice, because as we said, most likely it was like the whole factory is processing these salmons. It's not like they do one salmon and one shark. Okay.
Rabbi.
Yeah, you're welcome. So usually they process in a place where they grow them, or on a boat wherever they catch them. Okay, continue. Okay, no problem. So section B, knife used to cut the hot or warm food, or hot knife used to cut cold meat. Okay, so now with a cold and cold, it was easy. Now it's hot. So at least one is hot, whether knife is hot or food is hot. Okay, so let's see. Whenever a knife is used to cut hot foods, in addition to the residue on the knife surface, one must also contend with the taste that has been previously absorbed into the knife, right, and went into this surface. That even if the knife was clean, the absorbed taste may have been in part into food being cut. So just to remind us, that's the difference between knife and all other vessels, right? So all other vessels, we said after 24 hours the taste is spoiled, this and that, no problem, right? I mean, after the fact, no problem. Initially we don't rely on it, but after the fact we say, okay, you can do it. But the knife is not so easy, right? Because of the sharp surface, right? It says that it's going to store the taste of the food and it's going to release it, right? Unless you kosher it. This section relates to the halachas of meat knife used to cut dairy food or reverse, or a non-kosher knife used to cut kosher food. Whenever this occurs, one must consult Rav. We'll discuss the basic principle involved. I just want to see how many principles. Okay, so let's do this introduction before we continue. One more time. Whenever a knife is used to cut hot foods, in addition to residue on a knife, right? Again, that maybe we have to kosher knife. One must also contend with the taste that has been previously absorbed into the knife, right? Even if there is a knife was clean. So again, knife was clean, so still it can transfer the taste. Okay. So that's, as we said, only the exception with the knife. Its absorbed taste may have been in part into food being cut. Period. Okay, that's very important. So with the cold and cold, we said wash it a little or scrap lightly. So meaning most likely it was no residue, no absorption, maybe some on the surface. It was very nice and clean, right? In a cold and cold. Here is not the case. This section relates to the halachas of the meat knife used to cut dairy foods. Okay, again, something is hot. Knife is hot or food is hot, or the reverse, or the non-kosher knife used to cut kosher foods. As we said, it's all three scenarios. The outcome is the same. Whenever this occurs, one must consult a Rav. We'll discuss the basic principle involved. Continue. So now we're going into principles. All the halachas specified below apply only when all of the following factors apply. Okay, all the following factors apply. Either the food or a knife is hot, so that's very important. The halachah of cold food cut with a cold knife were discussed in previous section. So as we said, it was pretty easy. So again, first condition, one of them is hot. Next one. The knife is known to have been used for a hot food during the previous 24 hours. Okay. What does it mean? So the something is hot. Let's say food is hot or knife is hot, and plus, but knife can be hot while it's still clean, right? So we know that this knife was used to cut hot foods during the previous 24 hours. Okay, even if it was clean after that. That's very important. I'm just adding, but that's what it means. If the knife was never used for the hot foods, okay, or was not used for the hot foods within 24 hours, previous 24 hours period, it's not ben yamo. It cannot transfer the taste, even when used to cut hot non-sharp foods. Okay, I mean, okay, let's break it into parts because it would, I think it would be easier. Um, I don't know. It's a. I apologize. He said not sharp, not sharp. Okay, so one more time. If the knife was never used for the hot foods, right? I would say most of the time, dating knife or dating, what would be cut like hot dating? I don't know, pizza. I don't know what. Most people do not cut hot. I don't know. I don't want to say most, but I don't have good examples of hot daily that foods that you would need to cut. Okay. Okay. So again, if the knife was never used for the hot foods, that's first case, or was not used for hot foods within the previous 24 hours. So right. So meaning it's clean, right? It's clean, or it was not used for the hot foods at all, never, or it was not used for the hot foods during the last 24 hours. That's good. Even, in other words, it is not binyamo. Not binyamo, meaning binyamo, we said 24 hours, not binyamo, which is good. Okay, commentary. A utensil is assumed not to be binyamo unless it is known to have been used with hot foods during the previous 24 hours. So it's very interesting. So we judge into to the positive side, meaning unless we know that something was used in the past 24 hours, or we suspect that something was used or no, we assume that it was not used for the hot foods, or maybe was not used at all for the past 24 hours. Okay. So meaning here we go, we have this leniency. Okay, so if it was not used in past 24 hours, or was not used for hot foods for the past 24 hours, or never used for the hot foods, it cannot transfer taste when it used to cut non-sharp foods. So if it's non-sharp foods, you cut your what was it? Sorry, it cannot transfer the taste. It cannot transfer the taste even when used to cut hot non-sharp foods. Okay, so the food is hot, right? But it's not sharp, meaning when we said sharp, this onions, radishes, garlic, all of these beautiful things, right? So even you cut with this knife. With this knife, even if it's hot, I'm not sure what will be the case. Maybe you cut hot meat, right? Hot meat, so there is no problem because the knife was not used for 24 hours. So I guess this is also easy scenario. So of course we're going to see the most harder one. Next one, the knife is clean. Okay. If the knife was not clean, if the knife was not clean, its residue is absorbed into the food, meaning because of the heat, right? The residue, if the knife was not clean, its residue absorbed into the food. It's cut. If either the knife of the food is hot, so for sure, right? Regardless whether or not it was used within the previous 24 hours. So again, because it's not clean. The 24 hours rule applies to absorb taste only, not the actual food residue. I mean, I think it's obvious, but okay, he said it. Okay, so let's read it again, and we're going to explain. The knife is clean. Okay, so the knife is clean. If the knife was not clean meaning they cut and did not wash, right? Not clean. Its residue absorbed into the food. So they cut. It was a daily knife that was not clean. They cut the tomatoes, so these tomatoes became daily. Okay. the residue absorbed into the food, right? This hot cheese, right? He cut this hot cheese, so it's absorbed into this tomato, okay, into hot food. If either knife of the food is hot, okay. So if one of them is cold, for example, cold and cold, when it's dory, as we said, you just wash it. Okay, regardless of whether or not, it was used within the 24-hour period. So 24-hour period, we said it's only on the previous food that absorbed, and we care maybe it's came out or did not come out. That's the only thing. Okay. So any questions before we continue?
Rabbi?
Yes, go ahead.
As far as the practical applications, when it said that we have to scrape the bread after being cut, with a knife that didn't have a neat stab before, do we have to be careful with the crumbs still? I mean, not to throw them in the floor or the floor.
That's the different issue. I mean, so if you cannot scrape it, it says scrape it. So that's what I always thought about. Like you cannot scrape with any knife. Like if he was cutting with a dairy knife, let's say. So this the residue on the bread is most likely dairy. So with what knife you're going to scrape? With a dairy knife. So it's going to stay dairy as well. You understand? So with a meat knife, you're going to spoil the knife. So I assume do it with disposable knife. Otherwise, it does not make sense. Or if you want to kosher the knife after that would be the right procedure to do. Right, to kosher knife after that. Or just cut, like if it's only one slice of bread, and you can cut the thin sliver, it would be more appropriate.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Okay, you're welcome.
So if we cut this thin sliver of the bread, so how should we dispose this piece of bread? I mean, is this problematic in some way?
It is so let me explain the question, because it's an amazing question. So the question is if is it waste of food? So if there is a residue, right, and we concerned about the status of the kashrus of the food, it would not be waste. You understand? But when we do some extra things, as we discussed before, if technically the food was beetle, it was nullified 60-1. So in this case, we're not allowed to throw out food, because it's like even for you, it does not cost a lot of money, and you're a rich person, you can afford, but it's still a problem to waste food, which is not allowed. But in this case, since the loss is negligible, so I would say it's not a problem. That's yeah, because you're trying to be careful with the kashrus. Okay, so I think we can stop here because next section is pretty long. Okay, so any questions on what we said, or did not say? Go ahead.
Rabbi?
Yes.
So another question in regards to this bread. So may we use a potted spoon, for example, to scrape the surface of the bread? And if so, does something happen with the spoon itself? Do we have to kasher it afterwards?
So if it's what cold and cold, right? Technically, there is no problem, right? The only issue is, as we said, with the knives. So if you do it with, it's a good idea. So if you're going to do it with a potted spoon, you just wash it. That's it. It was cold and cold. right? And yeah, there is no problem. Okay, what else?
Thank you very much, Rabbi.
Yeah, so the fork would be the problem, as we said in introduction to this chapter. So the fork, it's similar to knife. It's not exactly, but similar to knife. Right, when you pierce something, you apply the pressure. Same way when you cut something, you apply the pressure. That's the thing. Okay. Any question? Any other questions? Okay.
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
There's a question on the board. It says, Shalom Kvodov, do we need to kasher rubber gloves for washing dishes and apron for Pesach? If so, is it enough to put them into laundry?
No, you just put them into laundry. That's enough. For cashing gloves, like dishwashing gloves. Me personally, I will always use dishwashing gloves. So I'm a big expert in gloves. So you can just wash it. So if it's still, if you open this new pair of gloves, I don't know, like 3 days before the Pesach, so they're still good. They can last a very long time. So what I would do, I will wash it with a soap, and that's it. So whatever residue on this, first of all, the soap is going to kill everything, and that's it. So you're good. There's no problem. So the problem is the chometz. Chometz, the definition of chometz, the dog is going to eat. The dog is not going to eat your gloves, or not going to lick the thing from the gloves. Most of the dogs have better food, more tastier food to eat than these gloves. Okay. What else?
Thank you very much, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
My friend says, thank you, Kvodov.
You're welcome.
Also,
Mm-hmm.
do we need to concern if we misuse dairy gloves to wash meat dish?
Mm-hmm. So he's let me explain the question. It is actually concern. Why? Because usually people wash the dishes with the hot water. So it was hot dairy. Like even somebody ate cereal, right? Like with a cold milk. So the problem is not as with the milk, but the problem is the hot water that and the sponge, and that you hold the gloves. So me personally, I always wash the gloves just in case. I mean, just in case. And technically, if you wash, you can use it for others. Preferably not to, but technically you can. Because why? Because the thing is, this rubber does not absorb that much, and then the taste is spoiled always because of the what is it? Because of the soap. But still, it would be, of course, preferable. So we always have two sponges. There is no question about sponge. It's like you must have two sponges. But sometimes, like when second pair of gloves is not available, so you can wash the first one with the soap. Especially if it was not used for some time. Okay. What else?
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
Next question is from Kvodov. Should we have two separate knife sharpeners? Thank you, Rabbi.
I think so. Yes. For daily knife and for meat knives. Yes.
Thank you very much, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
Next question. Thank you so much, Kvodov. When buying new pot, cookwares, or dishes, is there any material we should avoid as they are hard or impossible to kasher?
So some things impossible to kosher, but we still buy them. For example, this China. Okay, you cannot kosher them, but they're very practical. You understand? So we should not avoid it just because we cannot kosher. Right, but probability that you're going to make it not kosher is very small. So I would say there is no such materials. Right. I mean, I'm just thinking about it. So I mean, usually people do not care. Like what I mean. So for example, if you buy this the frying pan with a stainless steel, for example, right? So you would be able to go like kosher back and forth. Let's say if needed. But if you buy this with like modern like layers, so you would not be able because they're going to crack if you try to kosher them. But today since they so cheap, so right, so just leave it as it is, right? And if needed, just replace it. And of course, pay attention. So it does not happen often. I mean, for us, like Baruch Hashem, it's never happened. Like we use something wrong. Why would we use something wrong? Like
Thank you, Rabbi.
yeah, you're welcome.
Sometimes when I want to sharpen my knives, I usually try to do so with another knife, with the back of another knife. Try to rub them against. So I was wondering, do I have, say I have a dairy knife, do I have to use another dairy knife, even if it's only use the back of the knife to sharpen it?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much, Robert.
Because this blade, so all these all of these things that differs knife from spoons, right? Is this blade that absorb the taste because of the pressure. So and now these pieces of this dust from this blade from sharpening is going to go to another blade. So of course we have to avoid it.
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
Our friends are still typing their questions.
Mm-hmm.
And in the meantime, may Kabbalah please expand a little bit more on prohibitions during Hanukkah?
There's no severe prohibitions on Hanukkah, as we said, it's a proper not to do any melacha. So melacha were forbidden works on what is forbidden on Yom Tov, right? After we lit the candles. But again, as we said before, the minimum requirements for the candles is 30 minutes. Right, after the 30 minutes, technically you're not obligated to continue burn. So if you want to extinguish, so just so you know, some people have I don't know, presumption that you cannot extinguish. I'm not sure why. You're allowed to extinguish the candles. There is no problem. There is no problem whatsoever. And you can reuse this oil. For example, if you have oil like oil candles. So you can reuse the oil for next time. There is no problem. Okay. And extinguish oil candles is very easy. You just take tweezers and you remove the wick. That's it. And it's going to go off by itself. You're welcome. So technically, this half an hour, I would say this the most severe prohibition, but after that there is no problem. So you can leave your candles and take care of your business, or do whatever you need to do, technically. Okay.
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome. So just remember to add this additional blessing on Hanukkah in Shmona Esrei, and remember to add this blessing in Birchas Hamazon. There is no requirement to have meal in Chanukah. I mean, if you want, you can, but there is no such requirements. And remember that we add this addition in the blessing of the blessing of the years in Shmona Esrei. So we say the Talamot al-Devracha, right? So what is it? On a dew, the blessing on a dew. Okay. Okay, what else? You're welcome.
Next question on the board. Shalom Aleichem to the Rav. Thank you for the Shiur. Question: if someone found an onion in a dishwasher or pot of utensils, would that make the entire loads davar harif? And likewise, if some other dairy or meat, has shalom, wasn't properly rinsed off a plate and found its way into the wrong dishwasher, would the heat in the dishwasher constitute as hot enough to make the entire batch of dishes, dairy, or meat?
So I apologize. There are a few questions. Could you start again? I apologize. If onion found in a dishwasher?
Yes, there's a couple samples actually. Okay. Question: if someone found an onion in a dishwasher, or believe a piece of onion or pot of utensils, would that make the entire loads davar harif?
No. It's only this davar harif, this sharp foods, they apply only to knife. It's only with knife, yeah. So go ahead. So there is no problem with dishwasher or pots or whatever they do. Okay, go ahead. What else?
And likewise, if some other dairy or meat, has shalom, wasn't properly rinsed off a plate and found its way into the wrong dishwasher, would the heat in the dishwasher constitute as hot enough to make an entire batch of dishes, dairy, or meat?
That's a very good question. So it is regular like meat and part of the dishwasher, let's say, and somebody put milk bowl or something, or maybe milk plate in there. It was dory, right? So the whole dishwasher, is it? So I would say it depends if it was the only dish there. So maybe like I mean, if it's like the simplest scenario, if it was the only utensil there, I would say there is no problem because it's actually it's washed away. With other like dishes, that could be a problem because yes, it's very hot. I mean, I don't have the dishwasher, but I understand the water there is pretty hot. In order to wash it like thoroughly and so fast, it cannot be cold water. That's the way I understand. So what is going to be with the dishes? It's a good question. But let's put it aside. I'm not sure. In this book, we're going to learn about dishwasher. So let's wait until we get there. So I don't want to answer because it's a very complicated question. It's not so easy because that person is 100% right. It's for sure. It's like hot, right? Okay, maybe it's a minute amount of the like nobody put the in dishwasher like bowl or plate with the food on it. So there's some residue, but there is no food. So here we go. It's already leniency, but I don't know. So let's leave it till we get to that chapter. What else?
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
So if I want to get a dishwasher to do the whole thing in a kosher way, I need, of course, 2 different dishwashers. But I have like an old one that I've been using for quite a while. Of course, it's all mixed together. It's completely treif. Do I have to throw it away or give it away, buy 2 new ones, considering it's pretty much impossible to kasher a dishwasher?
No, but you can give it away. There's no problem. So the problem with dishwasher could be that it was not kosher food there. There was not kosher food and no use for meat and dairy. So, but you can give it to a non-Jew. There is no problem. It's not forbidden to them.
Or sell it, perhaps? Yeah.
You even sell. You see, even though there is a prohibition, as we spoke before, that you cannot derive benefit from meat and dairy mixture together. But there is there is not such a thing. You're not selling them or giving them cheese and salami sandwich. It's not, right? There is no meat. There is no actual meat, and there is no actual cheese in there. So right, so for them there is no problem whatsoever. You can sell, for sure.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Next question on the board, and a related question. With modern day genetic engineering, with modern day genetic engineering, it's possible to make new species of animals. We're forbidden to crossbred animals. But if the animal had all the kosher traits, could we eat it? Like how we eat grapefruit?
I'm not sure if they can, they would develop new species of animal. Is it what it says, or?
Yeah, that if they manage to develop a new species that ends up having all the kosher traits.
Kosher traits. Okay, that's kosher science. I think it would be forbidden. That's my opinion, and I'm going to explain why. So in Halachah it says that so the product of non-kosher is not kosher. It's tameh is tameh. And example they give if a donkey gives a birth to animal, right? Looks like a baby calf, right? With a split hooves, with like skeleton, exactly like a calf, right? So what can we eat it? No, absolutely not. So even if it has all of the kosher signs, for us it is forbidden. Why? Because it is a product of non-kosher species. So science here, kosher science here, irrelevant. You're welcome.
So our friend gives the example of the grapefruit, which is a crossbred food. So I was wondering, our friend is kind of saying, how come we can benefit from grapefruit and not from this genetic modified animal?
Because the animal is not kosher. The fruit is kosher. We said everything that grows from the ground is kosher. There is no problem whatsoever. Right? No problem, even though it was crossbred, right? It's what is the word? It's not crossbred. It's what is it? Drafting, right? Grafting, right? Grafted. So it was a grafted one to another. So it is forbidden for us, but after the fact, after it was made, we can eat. But here, when they created new animal, so it did not come from a mother, from the kosher mother. So we said whatever comes from a kosher source is kosher. Not always. There are exceptions. I did not say the second case, but we're going to say it now. And whatever came from a non-kosher side is always non-kosher. So here we do not know where it came from. So there is no source. You understand? So, and since majority of the animals are non-kosher, So we assume that this also should come as a Rav. Rav is a majority, so it would be non-kosher. So exception. What if you have a cow and it gave a birth to an animal that looks like a horse, right? There is some abnormality always, right? As a horse, and so in this case we will not allow to eat it. Also, even if it came from a kosher source, but since it looks like product does not look kosher, so I think if I remember correctly, we consider it not kosher. There are many abnormalities. Many years ago, we were in one city. It's Washington D.C., right? And they had a medical museum. I don't remember what it's called, but it's a few stories like mind blowing. I love this stuff very much. They collected all of the things that people swallow, that they swallow, and they did operation on the stomach and remove. And you would not believe what people swallow, right? And they have like a forest and some, I don't know, of the abnormal babies, like with 3 heads, like looks like a dog. It's unbelievable. So, right? So just because you see people around you all of the normal does not mean that everybody is like that. Okay.
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
So in regards to this topic, will we be allowed to benefit from a cloned kosher animal? Say someone clones a cow or a sheep, will we be allowed to benefit from it?
So I'm not 100% sure because as we said, so if you want to work on the cow, plow the field, I would say maybe there is no problem. But to use the milk of the cow, that's questionable. You understand? That's because it did not come from the cow, and it is all of the derivatives are not kosher. So the famous example is that people such educated people, they ask about the bee. How come the bee is not kosher, but honey is kosher? So we say it's not true. That's the honey is not a product of the bee, right? But it's like it's not a product like a product in a sense of the milk. So it's like in some sense it's excrement. And it goes to the different gland. It's the whole story. So it's not product as a milk or others. Okay, so there is no exceptions.
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
Next question on the board. We have a couple of questions in regards to this topic of genetic engineering. Number one, in bio experiment, it's common to transfect, meaning to induce genetic material from species A to species B into monkey cells. Is it allowed to do that?
And again, is allowed to do what? To take material from one animal and insert it into another?
Yes, it says to induce genetic material from species A to species B.
I mean, if like in general, halachically, if the animal is not suffering or it's for the betterment of the animal, there is no problem. Or we're trying to find a cure for people. So technically it is allowed to experiment on the animals, right? Because the animals were created to serve humans. So if you need to test the medicine or procedure, it is allowed to use the animals. Right, because you're doing for a greater purpose, but just to make the animals suffer and see how they're going to go, it's not allowed. Okay.
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
Second question in regards to this topic of Francis also, it's common to remove part of the organ. or induce a disease on experimental animals. Is it allowed to do that? If no, how can we do tshuva for these? I believe we'll already covered this.
Could you say remove the parts of the organs of the animals? Could you say it again?
Yes, to remove part of the organ, or the organs, I believe it means organs, or induce a disease on experimental animals.
So, I mean, if it's that they experiment trying to find a new cure for humans, then I would say that it's not a problem for medical purposes, of course. I mean, it's not to torture the animal; it's to find the cure or something. Right? For example, if somebody have a liver problem, right? So it's possible to take Nishmat Abraham, right? It's possible to take part of the kidney from a healthy person and give it actually to the sick person, right? And this and liver of the healthy person is going to grow back, right? And I'm not sure about sick person. I don't remember how it was explained. Maybe they're going to remove a liver completely from him, as for shalom, and and put this new urine liver to that person. Of course, it has to match. They're going to double check, triple check, but that's procedure is allowed. But the way I understand, before you start this procedure on the people, right, and cut people and try to transfer the liver, so you have to make many experiments of the animals, maybe for I don't know how many years, just to make sure that that procedure works. People, nobody would allow the surgeon to try. He said, "I think it should work. Like in my mind, it should know. Like he has to show the proof. It has to like based on some kind of research on monkeys, on other animals." So we already did it for some time, and we watched these animals. So like survival rate. Let's say I don't know. I'm making up right numbers like 45%. So if this person is going to die, right, or there is a 45% chance that he survived, right? So most likely the FDA is going to approve it, or whoever is in insurance is going to approve it, whoever is in charge to transfer of the liver. So, but we cannot go by his word, and he cannot prove it because he was never allowed to do that. So that's where animal came into the picture. Yeah.
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
So I was wondering if there's a way for the people that experiment with these things to achieve results out of this experiment without the usefulness of animals. Would it be proper to do so, or is the person still allowed to use the animal in order to save time and so on?
I mean, I guess in order, as you said, to save time. I'm not sure what about time. So if it's to build a different system would take a year or 2 years or 5 years and develop it, and animals are available and you can multiply them easily. So I said go with the animal, because in this 1 year or 2 months, even 2 weeks, we will be losing people, right? So people are more important than the animals. So go the shortest route, whatever prove to be working best. I mean, in compatibility with the animal, between animal and human.
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
Next question on the board. Okay. The above is often necessary for clinical research, specifically drug testing and efficaciousness. Does Kabbalah know if the Torah ever mentioned anything about testing on monkeys for apes?
Not really, no. So somehow it's finishes. The sages always have a precise knowledge, and if they would operate, they do the operation like humans. They knew exactly what to do. So don't ask me why and how. It was a whole divine knowledge, and they would operate. But today we do not have this knowledge. We don't have these procedures, so we do according to what available to us, and what is available to us was reasonable to test all the procedure on animals. Absolutely.
Take it away.
You're welcome.
So it kind of makes me think about what Yaakov Avinu did with the sheep. That he would make them look to this sticks with white spots in order for them to create spotted sheep. So I was wondering if he did it sort of, I wouldn't say manipulated, but he kind of changed kind of played with the genetics a little bit. By doing so, would it be allowed to play with the genetics in order to achieve similar results but with another procedure? Like, I don't know, like extracting DNA and so on?
I don't remember who said it. I think it was Ramban said, do you think there was like, because of the sticks, that's what happened? You serious? You understand? So, but people, I think, I don't remember who was it, which commentary, but he said that the sticks were, of course, like for us, understanding about the sticks, it makes sense, but it does not make sense. They're going to look and they're going to produce and this and that. So they say it was pure miracle from HaShem, right? But we have to do some ishtadlus. We have to do something, trying, right? We try. So like in his mind, like in Yaakov Avinu's mind, it was reasonable to expect like to do something. How else? What else could have him done? Understand? So that's the only logical thing he could have done, and he did it, and Hashem blessed it. Understand? It's like Moshe Rabbeinu throw the when we arrived at Mara, right? And it was like very bitter water. There was water, but it was bitter. So people complained, and Moshe Rabbeinu took a stick. I think it was also bitter, threw in the water, and the water became sweet. So the water became sweet because of the stick that he threw, or because the stick was also bitter like a water that worked, right? And people can rationalize any way they want, but Hashem created a miracle. You understand? But still, he had to do some physical act in order for this miracle to perform. So for us, we have to, for example, a person cannot, I get in these questions like every other day about like how do you know the line between the laziness and bitachon? So right, and believe in Hashem. So I say most of the time, if there's a question, it's a laziness. You understand? So people just lazy. So we have to do something, and Hashem is going to bless. So you do little ishtadlus, little try, and Hashem is going to bless. He can bless a little, according to your ishtadlus, and he can bless a lot. It's his own business. You understand? So we don't count on sticks, we don't count on this, or we don't count on that. We count on Hashem, but he wants it to look more natural. Okay. More natural meaning that you go to work and you make money, but doesn't matter. Like the hidden miracle is that the hidden miracle is that this money is enough for you to survive. That's the miracle. That's the miracle, right? That you have a little money and it's enough for you to survive.
Thank you very much, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
I have a question about
Okay.
a kosher kitchen.
Okay, go ahead.
So if we go, somebody comes, a friend comes and uses our oven that was used only for dairy, for baking cake, bread, or pizza. Does he need to do some procedure before he uses the oven to prepare, cook kosher meat food?
Okay, that's That's a very good question. So the question is, so we have an oven that is only used for daily, right? Or part of daily, let's say, and then somebody comes and he wants to use it for meat. So is it allowed? So technically, we try not to do it, but the question is how we would use for daily to begin with. So with daily, there are two ways how you can cook, like generally bake, not that in a stove you bake. So you bake with a lid cover or with open lid, without lid. So that's the basic question. So if you always whenever you bake your daily, it's always the lid cover. So meaning that there is no steam or minimum amount of steam that escape from your baking, and it's mostly like dry food. There is no problem. You just wash it, and technically you can use it, of course, with his meat, but cover lid. There is no problem. That's the easiest scenario. The hardest scenario, if for example you make I don't know what they do in for a cheesecake. Of course, nobody covers cheesecake. Like it's a cake. So you would bake this cheesecake in this oven. You open. So that's there is it's in this cheese there is a lack of moisture. So for sure, when you are cooking, when baking, a lot of moisture escaped, and there is this oven becomes daily oven for sure. In the first case, when everything was covered, it is a daily oven, but its special category was where it was lid cover. So in this case, you must wash it, right? I would say do three things, right? To go according to all the opinions. So you wash it, wait 24 hours, and then you kosher it, right? You kosher with the heat. You put the maximum heat, whatever is it, whatever you can do for 1 hour, and no problem, you can do it with meat. So, but remember, after you use with meat, if it was again open, right, without lid, open, so you have to kosher back again, right? But it's, of course, it's not recommended, but if needed, so of course I will suggest would allow it. Yes, you can kosher.
So it is not that, for example, if I am already sort of HaShem living in a community, a friend comes, and there is no way that he's gonna use the oven
Right away?
that day.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Also, because
I mean, unless one second, unless whatever you cooked before was dry, completely dry, and covered or covered. So completely, what's completely dry? Bread that was made with milk, or muffins that you mix with milk. Okay, so that's dry food. But some other like cheesecake, it's not dry. If you did lasagna there, it's not dry. So all of this, right? So okay, go ahead.
Yeah, because I most of the time I cook or bake pizza.
Mm-hmm.
It's little. I mean, it's most of the time. Most of the time, it's pizza.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's not possible in that case.
So or second solution, I would say that the easier solution, just get electric small oven, and that's it. Like small, simple. Don't like sometimes they sell something. Somebody asked me this. Somebody asked me to find a microwave for them. So I found the microwave, and I showed my wife. I said, should we recommend to that person? The person, elderly person, did not understand. Okay, so they just say, find me a microwave. My wife looked at it. She said, "You normal? Like there is so many buttons like a spaceship. This person needs like to warm food to say 30 seconds, 45 seconds start. That's it." You understand? So, and then we found the simple microwave, like I don't know, like 60% cheaper than that one. I don't know who need that one. Maybe they can program from the phone, like all this craziness of the world. So if you buy this simple oven, like just regular without electronics, should not cost much money. So I think it would be better solution.
Because I'm seeing that it's two directions. Each direction is like the same, because if my oven is a daily oven, so to kosher it needs the same procedure as if it is a meat oven. If I understood correct.
Yes.
Same procedure.
Exactly the same procedure in the third case if it's not kosher, or in a fourth one if you want to use it for Pesach, right? So that's it's called kasher in the oven, right? That's exactly the same procedure.
I think there may be a difference. I'm not sure. For the eating pot, the place where we eat the dishes, if to make it neutral, I mean not daily, not in the case of trying to make a dish again kosher. So the only procedure is just to clean it with salt and water, and that's all. That's what I understood. I'm not sure is that right.
So one second, for what? If you had the part there? Or what?
For each of the case, if it was a part dish or if it was a meat dish.
No, you need to kasher. So that's what I say. If it's part of there is no problem whatsoever. So you just use whatever you want. But you remember. So if you use it one time for the meat, for example, it was part of you use for it became the meat stove. So if it was covered or was dry, completely dry, like we said, this bread where is no steam. The problem is the steam. Okay, so it's easier. So you just clean and that's it. But if it was open and most time like it would be open with a liquid, so then you need to cover to kasher. You clean it first. Wait 24 hours and then you put on the highest setting fire temperature and you let it run for 1 hour.
I mean, the dish, if it becomes a meat dish, it's the procedure is the same as koshering an oven.
Yes, yeah. The for example. For example, if you have a meat oven and you did part of dish, so like a meat oven, maybe you would roast meat, for example, right? Open. So this part of is not part of. It is part of, but it's not. So this part of you should not eat it with daily.
But if the dish is made of a material that it's not possible to put into the fire to kosher this dish.
Dish. Okay. So if it's not possible to kosher, so that's it. So there's not much that you can do. So if it's not possible to kosher, it's not possible to kosher. For example, wood is not possible to kosher wood. So if you had I don't know, some hot, I'm just making an example, some hot non-kosher food there, right? So that this dish is not kosher, so you cannot kosher it.
Oh, so now I understand that the best option is to start from scratch with new dishes, new everything.
No, but not true. If it's you have a glass dishes, like like somebody asked me to find them these glass containers. Whatever, like so we find nice glass containers on sale, so we send to that person. Okay, so these containers you can kosher. right? Even though like you can use it for hot, for cold, but if you use it for for meat, you can kasher it today. Of course, it's not recommended, but technically you can kasher because it's glass. So if you use this rubber lids, if you did not use it with the heat, there is no problem. If you use it only for storage, there is no problem, right? But if you use it for hot, that's would be an issue. Okay. So all of this glass, all of the metal, you can kasher. There is no problem. Whereas things that were used only for cold, without heat, you also can kasher. You just wash them.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. You have what else?
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
We have more questions on the board.
Please.
Next one says, Shalom Kula. If we want to plant a fruit tree, not grape wine, how should we calculate the first 3 years? Are we allowed to benefit from the fruits of the first 3 years without eating it, like make it into fertilizer?
No, we cannot benefit. So 3 years. 3 years is the year starts before Rosh Hashanah. So if it took root 30 days before Rosh Hashanah, it's 1 year. Just so you know, right? And that's how you count. So and then on the third year, so we had actually in like in front of my building, we actually planted the wine grapes, grape vines. And for 3 years there were no grapes almost. Like they were small, like tiny, probably sour. So birds ate it, right? Squirrels ate it. They ate it. I don't know what they dried up, but we just did not touch. That's it. I mean, there is nothing to touch. If it's apple tree, I don't know, like it's going to be one apple, like tiny apple. Okay, just leave it there. Let's let the birds enjoy it. That's it. And actually, the sages say, I think we learned in the Rambam. So these fruits of the first 3 years, so since the tree is not strong enough, it's undeveloped, so it cannot provide all of the nutrients needed for the tree. So this for the fruit, so the fruit are not healthy. So HaShem knew that it's not healthy, and he said, "Do not eat." Another thing, like of course we don't go because of that. We go because of the Halachah. Because technically, if you take a fruit tree and you replant it to another place, so you have to start. If I remember correctly, you have to start counting these 3 years from when you plant them. It does not have to be a seed, apple seed, right? It could be existing saplings or even the whole tree.
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
I don't know why I had the misunderstanding that this only applied to people living in Eretz Israel.
No, it's applied to everywhere. Yeah, I think they apply to everyone.
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
Next question. Since we're not allowed to mix liquid with liquid on Shabbos, I was wondering.
Once I step back, why are we not allowed to mix liquid with liquid on Shabbos? Liquid.
I don't know if our friends means about squeezing liquid into liquid.
Perhaps. Oh, squeezing. Yes. Okay. Yes.
He didn't mention squishing though.
No, but for example, I give you this example: liquid with liquid. So you want to drink coffee on Shabbos, right? You put your what is it? Coffee, sugar. It's also considered liquid, but it's a different story. So you put You put water, hot water. You mix it. right? And then you add milk, creamer, wherever you add, right? It's you mix in a liquid with a liquid. There is no problem, unless they meant something else. So, but you're right. The squeezing that's the issue. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Thank you, Rabbi. Okay, I'm gonna read the rest of the question.
Mm-hmm.
Liquid with liquid and Shabbos. Okay, I was wondering if we're allowed to use solid balls that have liquid inside. That when you put the ball into hot water, it dissolves the ball and puts the liquid inside the ball in the hot water.
I don't understand what it says there. Could you read it again, or but slowly? Let's try to understand. It's not clear.
Yeah.
You have a bowl. Okay, so what? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, we have a bowl that has liquid inside.
Okay, liquid. Let's say water. Okay, no problem. Cold water. Okay.
Yes. So our friend is asking, we're allowed to use these solid bowls that have liquid or water inside. That when you put the bowl into hot water, it dissolves the bowl and puts the liquid inside the bowl in the hot water. I don't know if this is in regards to the misunderstanding our friend had in regards to liquid with liquid. I don't know if this would be problematic still.
I'm not sure. I mean, if a person gives like specific, like practical examples, I'm not sure. Well, just don't know. I don't understand the situations, so that's why I cannot say.
I believe there are like these chocolate bowls that we kind of throw into milk and they melt and make like the whole beverage. I believe it's something like this. Or like the ones that the person used when bathing in the hot tub. They dissolve. I don't know if this matches the question. I'm not sure. Already is actually typing.
Okay. So let's see. So let's do another question while we're waiting for that.
Sure. Next question, Channukah. Question about Mitzvot. If we have a personality that we like to help people actively,
Mm-hmm.
but rather do it behind the scene,
Mm-hmm.
and we feel a bit uncomfortable to invite guests to our home.
Mm-hmm.
Is this something we should work on? Does this reflect some problem in Mitzvot?
Learn today. It's Beezrat Dishwasher. Learn today. I have a class today before this one. On Thursday I have in Yaakov. So in Yaakov, HaShem was rebuking angels, and because angels complain about the story of this maid servant of Gibeah, they pronounce it. So what was the or slave woman of Gibeah? So what was the story? That concubine of Gibeah. So it was a Jewish man. I'm going to remind you. Sorry, I am sure you know the story. So it was a Jewish man, and he had this concubine, like a wife, right? And then he didn't like her. He beat her up. I think she ran away, and he decided to make a peace and go to apologize. And he was bringing her back from her parents' house. I think she was not Jewish, or I don't remember the story exactly. So it's from Judges, maybe chapter 19, I think, 9 or 19, one of those. And they stop over in the tribe of Benjamin, right, one of these towns, and they came and say, give us these guests of yours. So give us the girl, basically, of the guy. They want to have relations with the guy. Exactly as the story with angels and Lot, right? And they say not, but we go. I'm going to give you a girl, right? So they give this concubine and they rape her, and she died. Okay, and after that, just like shorten the story, the whole tribes, they get crazy. They say, okay, give us the perpetrator, we're going to sue them and kill them, basically. That's a not Jewish way to do the things, right? To gang rape somebody, right? And so she raped, she died. And they did not want to, the tribe of Binyamin did not want to, so all of the tribes went in a war against Binyamin. So whatever happened after that almost exterminated the whole tribe. What happened after that doesn't matter. So, but you understand, was a big issue. Like the whole nation went against the whole tribe, and so this angel, listen to this. So these angels, HaShem is rebuking the angels, right? He said this place. I don't remember the name of this place. It was not far away from Shiloh. In Shiloh is the place when we had Mishkan for many years. How many years? I don't remember, but many years. Altogether 369. Out of this 369 years, how many years we had in Mishkan there? I don't know. Like, I don't remember a lot. Many years we had this Mishkan, this temporary temple in this city, and not too far from there was Micah. Who was the Micah? It was this guy, this little guy that Moshe Rabbeinu saved. Right? HaShem said kill him, but he said no, please HaShem let him leave the baby, because they were trying to put him in a wall. So he saved, and later all of this Micah was following Moshe Rabbeinu all along, right? And he grew up. He knew who is the savior. And when the time came to leave the Egypt, to live from the Egypt, all of the people were busy collecting money, gold, all the precious jewels and clothing. And Moshe Rabbeinu went to look for the grave of Yosef, right? He had the prophecy from the daughter of Asher, right? That the casket of the Yosef was in the Nile River, so he went there. He said, "Arise, bull, arise!" Right? So he said, "We're leaving. Look, if you want to go up, look, what am like a diver or something? I'm not going to find it. There's no way. So if you want to come with us, I'm doing my ishtalos. I came. I'm doing whatever I can. So arise, right?" And then he had this metal plate, right? And he said, "Arise, bull, arise." He threw in the water in the Nile, and guess what? The casket floated on top. And this little Micah, he took the snatch while Moshe Rabbeinu was excited. So he took this metal plate, right? And when the time was when Moshe was away, so I'm sure in the story, but you're still going to get the idea. When Moshe Rabbeinu went to get tablets, and people miscalculated, thought that Moshe is not coming, so they came to Aaron and said, "Make us idol." Right? Of the famous story, he said, "Give me gold, give this and that." So they threw everything into the fire, because Aaron thought that the longest process, because he knew that Moshe is coming, right? And this Micah guy threw this metal plate where it says, "Arise, bull, arise." Guess what? Bull is like nickname from Yosef. So his tribe is associated with bull, with the strength, right? And the bull is a king of the domestic animals, just so we know, right? So he was a king of Jewish people, right? He was the firstborn of the Jewish people, right? And this Micah took so he like, I think he took part of this golden cow, so like something he did, and he created idol. Like the Micah guy did not give up, and he made his shrine, like and he was serving his idol. and what is it? The smoke from his his offering were mixing with the smoke of the offering from the Beis Hamikdash. Understand what's going on? And angel did not complain. So Hashem said, "Look, whatever Mika did, you did not complain, right? So you said it, whatever. Well, let it be, right? And with this concubine, so you make a big deal. So about me, you do not complain about my honor, Hashem's honor, that he's the smoke from his offering, like mixing with avodah zarah, you do not complain. But with this prostitute, she was a prostitute, so you do complain and you're making a big deal." So he said, "Well, what are you doing, angels? Like, what's going on?" Right? And I would say just explain what was so special about Mika, right? That Hashem did not destroy him for what he was doing with these idols and stuff like that. What was the reason? And they say because he always was ready with the bread. So whatever came to his monastery, his shrine, his temple to worship this idol, or even not to worship, he always had food for them. And that's why Hashem had mercy on him, and he was deserving to live, even though he was idol worshiper, and even though his smoke from his idol worshiper was mixing with the smoke from the Beis Hamikdash. So our sages, you see, B'siyata D'Shmaya, I learned it an hour ago, less than an hour. My class before that finished 10 or 15 minutes before our class time, just so you know, right? Sometimes 10 minutes, right? So that's how important for Hashem this hospitality. That's how he treasures hospitality, even from these people who deserve to be dead. You understand? And on the other hand, the example there is Ammon and Moab. So it says that Ammon and Moab is not going to enter into the nation of Israel. What did they do wrong? Did they worship idols? Everybody worshiped idols, but it was not the fault of worshiping idols, because they did not provide this, did not did the hospitality when you exit the Egypt, did not greet you with bread and water. And just to remind us, Jewish people did not need the bread and did not need the water, because we had manna and we had the well of Miriam traveling with us, right? But just to show sign of hospitality, just to offer bread and water, but they want every Jew to die, so that's why they're not allowed to enter in the nation of Israel. So hospitality is very, very big deal, very big deal. Okay, so so it's in general answer. So there is a more specific answer. So it depends when people are going to come to your house and how they're going to affect your family, right? So, for example, if a woman wants to have friends to come to the house, or some other people, but these ladies are not going to come dressed. You understand? And her husband is would be put in a position that he has to look. So who is benefiting? You understand? So there are many other factors that we have to take into consideration. Other small kids, maybe they're going to get affected and stuff like that. So it's not so simple. Even hospitality is very huge in the eyes of Hashem, but it's not for any price. There is a price, that some price we are willing to pay, and some price let them stay home, basically. Okay. But hospitality is huge. Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
So about the same question, our friend was asking if now being so open to this hospitality may reflect some problem with midot.
I mean, if person just shy, there is no problem, right? Not everybody outgoing, so it's actually good, as it says when when angels came, they came to Abraham. They say, "Where is Sarah?" They say, Abraham said, "She's in the tent," as a compliment. So Rashi said it's they want to show Abraham how precious his wife is. So she's very modest. She does not sit with the guys and chit chat with them, right? Even though the guests and they have great news, right? And she has 1 million questions about places that he came from, right? So no, she was in the kitchen or wherever in her tent. Of course, she was eavesdropping, but that's a different story. Okay. So basically, if like there is some other things like person is uncomfortable having guests, so I mean it depends what I would say that depends what. So maybe it's worth it to work on it. Maybe not. Maybe not. Okay.
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
So about this issue of being shy, of bashfulness, since I'm very shy in real life, I don't like to socialize very much. I've always been like this. I'm naturally more inclined to be attracted to women that are more outgoing. The thing is that I think that this trait in women is not so good.
Mm-hmm.
So I was wondering, should I change, like, I don't know, the type of women that I'm looking for? I mean, is the problem within me, or is there like a kosher way to be outgoing for women?
I mean, yes, that's what I want to say. That's how she's going to use it. If she's going to use it for a chesed with other women, and for example, when somebody is giving birth, so she would cook for them, bring them food and stuff like that, and take care of the babies, and she's there, she knows what's going on. Yeah, there is no problem. But to be out like even with ladies and have like a coffee chit chat, that would be a problem. I don't know who needs that, right? So it depends how to use it. So one thing we have all of these tendencies in our character, right? So but the tendency does not mean that first of all of the tendency can be used as Rambam teaches for positive, for a mitzvah, as we just said, and we can always work on them. So it depends how is it used, how is it being applied in real life. But the famous example, somebody is bloodthirsty, so he can be a killer, right? Or he can be a moil, right? Or a surgeon, or the person who takes blood for a test. So all day they're busy with blood, or a butcher, right? All day they're busy with blood. So, but this blood, first case about killer is negative, but all others are very positive, like very kosher, very kosher jobs. You understand? And benefit for Jewish nation, for society.
Thank you very much, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
Next question on the board. Thank you, Kabbalah. This question is in regards to the question about fruit trees.
Okay.
Princess, thank you, Kabbalah. If there's no fruit for the first 3 years, does it mean does it mean we can just eat all the fruit when they grow?
Actually, the procedure is as follows. So 3 years, I don't want to disappoint you. 3 years, we're not allowed to eat fruits. In the 4th year, we have to bring the fruits to the Beis Hamikdash, so we still don't eat them. So on the 5th year, you eat the fruits, and it's usually like practically. I'm not talking about. I'm not saying that's the reason of Halachah, but practically on the 5th year, it's the best fruits, and you would be. You'll see you did not lose anything. Okay.
Thank you, Rabbi.
So it's 4 years technically.
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
We have the last question on the board. It says, Kabbalah, where do we draw the line between being hospitable and being security conscious? Should we just have bitachon, that the guardian of Israel neither slumbers nor sleeps?
I mean, we go by the norm of society, right? So it would be proper to check the person who you invited. So like if you never saw this person before in your life, he is coming or she's coming from another town or something. So maybe it's not a good idea to host them. You understand? So, but if it's only for a one meal, for example, and you know it's your neighbor, it's somewhere like your relative, that's a different story. But if it's a security concern, so don't invite them. So your security come first, right? Then before everybody. Security, you and your family. Yeah.
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
And that was pretty much the last question.
Okay, very nice. Did we get a clarification of this bowl thing? Something dissolving or no?
Yes, our friend says, my mistake, sorry, I misinterpreted.
Okay.
Perhaps our friend thought that it was forbidden to put liquid into liquid.
Liquid into liquid, yes. So there is no problem. And another exception is with this liquid into liquid. It's actually ice. So like on one hand it's solid, and you're melting. So maybe changing the status. It's mollied, right? But they say there is no problem since you don't see it as a mixture. So you see it like water. So you just added water, right? For example, you have tea. It's too hot. And my wife says sometimes that when it's coffee, she does not like very hot, so she would put few cubes of ice, and that's it. You understand? So you do not see that the ice was added, or you put it in the water. Okay. So all right. So thank you very much for learning with us. Baruch Hashem, we had very successful week, amazing questions, and but these questions, make me like pushing me, like to push other people to ask the questions. And Baruch Hashem, today I had another class, like a very long class, and I was about to rebuke them, like how you so quiet, and other people like have 1 hour questions, and you have maybe 5 questions, and that's it. So Baruch Hashem, they were also asking the questions today. Baruch Hashem. So when you ask the questions, you develop, and you develop me. That's also very very important for me. All right, Baruch Hashem. So I wish everybody a happy Channukah. A good Shabbos, and until Monday, Beezrat HaShem, same time. Thank you very much. Good night.